with the news of Willow Nightengale. She's going to be facing Tam Nakano next week at Stardom Flashing Champions.
Yep.
Yet another James Boyd Bowl. Just so this thing is come out
What was the
of.
last one?
Uh,
I'm blanking.
yeah, I'm blanking at the moment
Okay.
on what the last one was. But Tam versus Willow, kind of a strange match. I didn't see this coming or anything, but it started on Twitter kind of, and some backstage promos from Tam issuing a challenge. There was a promo Willow Nightingale did last week where she welcomed international challengers as she is, prepping for Mercedes Moné. I was kind of told to watch the Twitter interaction, by folks who shall remain nameless. And then the next day we started seeing all the announcements and all that stuff. So it was kind of abrupt, it came out of nowhere, won't lie. But I'll take the match. So Willow's going to Stardom. And it was like, okay. And I'm like, just the aesthetics of this thing here. I was like, man, what a choice. What did you make of this when I first sent you over the graphic?
When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this makes perfect sense." Like Tam is one of the better sellers in the world, and like we just saw her in that Melt Tier versus Ito and Aja Kong match, sell her ass off, bump her ass off for them make the match work. Like I think it's gonna go a lot better with someone that's more mobile, younger, and move around, right? Like so, yeah, the match is gonna work. Obviously, Tam is like from Himeka to like all sorts of monsters in her past. Like she's able to make this thing work for her. So like I think the match is going to work. It's going to be a really good match. And I think this is probably something to keep in mind of like some type of progression towards Forbidden Door, or for Tam to end up on AEW shows here and there the same way that like Mina pops up like every other week on AEW television. Like given you mentioned the aesthetic choice, like this is like we're talking about pretty smiley girls, like, or women. So I could easily see like win, loss, or draw, whatever else. They come to some type of respect or whatever else, and like Willow gets Cosmic Angels affiliated to the much to the chagrin of Rich Latta, but it is what it is. I can see that happening.
That's a strange one. I don't know. We might have to send Mayu Watani out there and be like, I think you might go with the Stars, a little bit more, but. Yeah, I saw this and I was like,
either or.
I was like, that's a funny match, like because like I would have never like saw them as opponents. If I was thinking about Willow, I would be like, I don't know, someone else, too bad Himeka's not here anymore. Himeka would have been perfect, or trying to think who else would have been an interesting opponent. She's in Marigold. I would have said Utami, but I'm down with it. I am pretty excited, to see Willow go over there. She is, as Lyric once pointed out, like she's the woman that when AEW sends women internationally, chances are Willow's going to be leading the charge, and she's kind of someone that represents herself well, represents the company well, and I couldn't be too mad at this. I did see some people that were just, not happy with this. And I was like, I don't know what to make of that or whatever.
I don't understand, or I've heard one person and because I asked and like explain to me what their issue is. And like, I get the issue. I just don't have that same hold up because like, I'm at a point where like, the booking itself is so weird over there right now that like I'm not blaming AEW for this, So I'm fine with it. Like Tam's in the middle of a down cycle. She just lost to Aja Kong. She got pinned by Aja Kong. Like that's not. I mean, obviously, you don't want to compound it, or whatever. But like, she's doing jobs. She do a job to Willow, whatever.
Yeah, and it's for the TBS belt, if we didn't mention. And, just when I see it, I'm like, look, man, I like Stardom and I like AEW, so I'm someone that, I don't have no problem with this or whatever. So I think it's dope for the wrestlers. I kind of made my stance clear on that. And I hope like more stuff happens. It is part of me, a little bit be like, oh y'all, like, yeah, man. How do I say this? So it's like, all right, are people angry at this? Did y'all want them to just send Anna Jay so you could be angrier? Like, is this what you really want out of this? Is just to be angry at it? Because if so, let me know. And we can just we can establish it from there. Because it's just you see Anna Jay get mixed in, people were just furious. You see Mariah May and Mina, and I think Tonal Talk's doing a good job interpreting a lot of that stuff and breaking it down and what it may mean from a story perspective. Oh yeah. And
that's what we're calling it.
Yeah, and
I haven't listened yet, but I already imagine.
Yeah, they're taking you through like what these characters are feeling. So I think the cool thing about it is I like seeing wrestlers in unfamiliar environments or different environments because it's kind of fun. Like, they can go home after, they can come in and do something cool. Like when Azumi was on Collision, I was like, yo, 1 year ago, this wouldn't have happened for various reasons. Like, right. Let alone like who's in power at Stardom, who's in power at AEW. Like, there's tons of stuff.
Is Rossi a WWE drone, or are they like trying to charge AEW a ridiculous amount of money to secure each talent?
Bro,
like that story came out last week too, so who knows what the hell's going on?
Bro, when I read that, I was like, there's no fucking way this is true. But then I was like, well, if you wanted to politely tell someone to fuck off, that's what you would do, right?
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, they can all come for 30 racks each. Like, what? Like, I don't
like there's we'll never know for sure whatever situation. I just go off of like, hey man, like who knows whether it was Rossi, whether it was this Bushiroad or whatever else, whether it was miscommunication between like what Tony Khan thought that Rocky could do for him, or like him reaching out or whatever else. Like regardless, we're past that and now we're here. So I'm over it now.
Yeah. And I don't say that saying that they don't deserve that number or anything. It's just I am aware of what top people would consider a huge offer, like on an independent level, right? I'm aware of these numbers, like astutely. So like when I hear like 30 racks per person per Stardomer for one show on a pay-per-view for AEW, I'm like, you know what? I can see it from one perspective, but absolutely, like that's nuts. Like just in comparison to what I'm familiar with.
Right, especially when it's like, if you're familiar with the wrestlers, you know that they would just do it if you just comp their shit, if you drop their travel, they do it. like get the fuck out of here. There's no way.
Yeah. Be like, yeah, man, I'm doing a six woman tag. Shit, I'm putting 200 racks in the ring right now. Like, the fuck? But yeah, man, Will versus Tam should be a good match.
Should be a very good match at the least, because like it's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Willow overpowering. Tam's gonna come back. Tam's gonna eventually drop her on her head in some way, and like we'll see where it goes from there. But like the match should be very good, and I don't know what the time limit thing is for the TBS title or what it will be in Stardom or whatever else. But like for me, seeing that Flash and Champions is like the second Night of Champions gimmick pay-per-view they have per year, because was it Golden Week? Not Golden Week. Gold Rush in like the fall, and then Flash and Champions here. It is like, all right, like, do I want to see Tam in another multi-person tag match on this thing? Whatever else is not a title match, or I want to see her do this. Like, I'd rather see her do this, even if it is lose. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Like she's in the middle of a down cycle, so I don't care.
Just keep Willow Nightengale far away from Natsupoi. I don't want no reports of treachery. So just move around.
Wow.
But yeah, so Could have
But
been
one
dope.
thing I would do, one thing I've always remembered with Willow is like Willow, she had the match with Julia to put Julia over with the strong belt. She's wrestled. She was on the Stardom Philly show, right?
She,
Like in
she
that
was on
tag
the
match,
Stardom show earlier this year too.
right? So my point is like you look around, is like, all right, Tam and Willow makes perfect sense to me because like Tam's one of the like, I don't know, handful and a half that has a U.S. visa. Willow has a visa to work in Japan. Aesthetically, she fits into Tam's group if they want to do that and make a connection or whatever else. Yeah, like why not? To me, it makes more sense than having a Zoom with Anna Jay from Anna Jay's on TV for that.
So yeah, next thing I wanted to get into was Adam Copeland, and kind of summarizing